Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and today we're going to be doing Perdition. It is the Legend of Lost Sector, and today is July 28th, and we've got legs as an exotic reward, so if you guys are still farming for a good roll of the Splicer legs, you can get them in here today. Pretty manageable. Vex champions, Barrier, and Overload. Barrier are going to be the Hobgoblins, and then the Overload are going to be the Minotaurs. The Vex modifier Shock, basically the Goblins will leave the electricity at their feet, and it is arc damage as the burn. Now, arc damage isn't too bad, but there are points where you got to be careful about it. Specifically, I think the boss itself, maybe. No, I think he's a Minotaur. The arc damage is nice because the burn helps you. It's not actually too terrible coming in. You just got to be careful where you face it. Now, for loadouts, hand cannons, I've told you guys that tons of times. For me, submachine gun just doesn't feel great. Also in here, scout rifle for anti-barrier. You're just going to have some stuff that just hits better at range. So for me, arc scout rifle, the main reason you want your energy weapon to be arc is you have a lot of harpies in two places, the kind of the beginning and the end. So you need a way to manage arc shields in a consistent way. Now, of course, you've got, your linear fusion rifle. Say you want to go an arc machine gun. If you've got one, I think the only one that's possible is the swarm. If you don't have that one, you can use whatever you want, but that's why an arc energy weapon is going to be beneficial. Scout rifle's my choice. I'm using linear fusion rifles on these last few just because it's been kind of fun just to see how they compare. They're not awful, actually. I'm learning. Typically, I'll just dump a grenade launcher into them and usually smash them pretty hard with damage. Whatever weapon you put in your heavy, just make sure it's arc, and also make sure you have major spec on it as long as it's not exotic. If you're running an exotic, you've got some options. You always do. If you want to use Queen Breaker, you technically could. Darcy, Prospector, Wardcliff Coil, you could probably delete half of a room. If you're close enough to a champion, I'm sure they'd go away. Thunderlord probably hits pretty hard. Now, at 1310, could you kill champion with Thunderlord? Probably, because it's a machine gun and they still need a little love, but 1310's not that bad. Would I use Thunderlord on a master difficulty? No, because unfortunately machine guns still just don't pump out enough at master. Anarchy if you've got it, but again, none of this stuff is required. I'm doing this with just a blue linear fusion. Grenade launcher is a good way to go. If you got an arc rocket launcher, also deletes champions very well. Whatever your heavy is, make sure you got your scavenger, your reserves, and your ammo finder on there. And then whatever your energy type is for your chest, throw resistance on there. Always going to be a good thing to have that for backup. I'm using a basic hand cannon, scout rifle, linear fusion. Show you guys how this works. Probably won't pop my super. Don't even think it's needed. All right, so when you start, you're going to have some harpies down below. Again, they're arc shields. Something you can put in a lot of work with your arc weapon. Just start breaking the shields, get that chain damage working. And if you kill enough of the harpies, you're going to send our little friend, the Hydra, all the way back. Now, don't go too far ahead for a minute. Got to hit him to turn him around. Now, if you hit him enough, he'll leave, which is usually a pretty easy way to get him out of the room. We'll finish him up later. Go up, we'll get our second wave. Don't go too far. We want to do this in about 3 waves. Now we're going to get our second wave of harpies, and you're also going to get 1 Minotaur. Now you're probably wondering why I'm running a Void subclass. It is for like 2 Minotaurs. And it's these guys that have the Void shields on them. So what you'll want to do, find them, get them to start teleporting. And if you can land a grenade on them, you can usually finish them up afterwards. And that's the only time you're going to use Void. There's one other guy like it. Move on up. Next wave. You're going to have some more harpies up here. Start shooting the harpies if you can, because their chain reaction is going to work fairly well. If you're worried about the Overload champion creeping up, just don't be too far up there. Watch the Hobgoblins. And then, once most things are down, you can start pushing our friend here, the Overload. If you stun him, you can delete him fairly quickly. Now, just a piece in here. I forgot to mention I am running Sundering Blast because I'm not running a grenade launcher. Now, Energy Accelerant, you can put anything on here you want. This one's actually not getting me any good use at this point because nothing has Dragonfly, Chain Reaction, and Firefly. But Stunning Champions creates an Explosive Blast. It does like a quarter of their health at this difficulty, so you may as well throw it on there if you're not using a grenade launcher. Breach and Clear is good, but if not, use Sundering Blast. It's really kind of great. So again, you're going to have your next Overload. Be ready and reload. Stun him. There's the explosion. That's like a quarter of the health. Delete him with your linear. You're going to have some Fanatics start coming. Get that chain reaction going. See if you got any stragglers in the room and see what needs to spawn. So we're gonna get our first champion up top. You don't have to kill him this quickly. Honestly, I probably wouldn't advise going quite as aggressive as I was trying to do. I was trying to go fast, but that's a little much. What you want to do is delete our fun friend, the Harpy. Or Hydra. Sorry, wrong thing. Hydra's down. Linear putting in some work. Hit him with another grenade. This is your other place where you need to hit with a grenade. Punch him, shoot him a couple times, whatever you got to do. Now, if we can prompt our little buddy here, the Hobgoblin, to put up a shield. I'm going to delete him if I can. Oh, timed that backwards. My bad. I still got him, even though he refilled his health completely. 13 10s. Not that bad. 13 40s? Yeah, typically I'm going to put a whole slew of guides out for you guys on the 1340s in case you're trying to get them done. Maybe you're trying to go Triumphs or whatever it is. But honestly, for me, the 1340s are not worth the grind when I can do this easily and still get the same exotic chances. I mean, you'll probably, theoretically, you'll get more exotics when it comes to Master, but it doesn't seem to be that much more. Wyverns are annoying because there's no real good way to crit them, so I can't even, like, take him out with a heavy weapon shot. The thing is, when you get him down to about half health, you can finish them. It's not the most obvious, but if you get them to about half health, you are able to just finish them up. Now, I typically don't use my super. You guys know that. Because that's the only problem, is I can hit him. It just doesn't do a ton of damage because I'm not hitting a crit spot. So, unfortunately, it's still a little slow. But if you hit him and you see that little flash, it doesn't have the icon above his head, but about half health, you can always finish these guys. Find our couple stragglers. Find the other champion who's going to be up top. And then blink him enough times so he drops his. This is why an Arc Scout Rifle is good. It's doing that. You get the bonus of the burn damage. He's deleted. Come up the stairs. We will spawn the boss. I don't think I'll get this done in 5 minutes, but we'll be close. Depends on how many shots I get on the boss here in the beginning. I try and clear out the first set of ads pretty quick. Just so less stuff is firing at me from all over the place, mainly. But if you can get the boss to line up in a decent order with you, and you can get him to play nice on standing still for about half a second, this gun will pretty well ruin his butt. Alright, so here we go. Sometimes it's hard to get the crit because that crit spot on him is just a bit rough. Or he does that type of shifty move. So again, next wave, you're going to have some Hobgoblins. You're going to have more Harpies. Again, the Arc Scout Rifle is definitely pulling its weight right now. He's deleted. Kill a few ads. And we're good. 5 minutes, 20 seconds. Not bad. This one is very farmable, though. It's pretty quick. And again, if I was using, like, you know, Thunder Crash for a super, I would just delete the boss. Especially with, like, Curious of the Falling Star or something like that. You can just go totally ham on this one. 5.5 minutes. Still pretty farmable, for sure. Pop it open, and hey, I got literally what I was explaining. Path of the Burning Steps. Haven't really used that one that much, but at least I got a new one. So that is it. Let's get back to the planet's surface. We'll wrap this up, and you guys can go farm. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Arc Scout Rifle, if you got one. Arc Auto Rifle, if you've got one. Whatever it is for the barrier weapon, and then, you know, medium range weapon. Arc is going to be helpful for all those Harpies. Whatever you prefer. Breach and Clear on Grenade Launcher, going to put in some work. Linear Fusion, not bad, actually. Sword, going to be a little more, you know, getting stomped on, but still probably doable if you get the stuns. Whatever you want to use. Arc for your heavy. Arc here. You got 2 Void Minotaurs and your Overload weapon. Match up what's over here. If you're going Grenade, use Breach and Clear. If not, Sundering Blast. Your Scavenger, your Reserves, and your Ammo Finder, and Victory. 5-minute farm's pretty easy. Use exotics on either end of that equation. Armor, especially, like if I was going to go Curious of the Falling Star and just, you know, use my Thunder Crash on somebody, I could delete whatever I wanted at that point and still be good to go. So use whatever you guys want. This is just a basic loadout to get you started, showing you guys it can be done with pretty much anything legendary. Exotics should just make this easier, so good luck, have fun. And if you guys are new to the channel, please drop a like below if you enjoyed this one. If you got a loadout you like using, an exotic that I didn't mention, please mention that in the comments below. If you guys are new to the channel and you want to support me, subscribe button's a nice way to do that. The alert bell will help my videos make it to you, and the join button's a nice way to support me as well. if you like. Always appreciated, but never required. You guys can find me on Twitter at Ebontis and twitch.tv/Ebontis, where I'm currently streaming through Mass Effect 2 before I go on vacation. While I'm on vacation, I'll be putting up basically a whole bunch of Master Lost sectors while I'm gone, so look forward to those. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and I'll see you soon.